using an agent. So this was my first. So I have a few friends that had investment properties, and I've heard so much about what they were doing and kind of what they had done. So I found an agent. I actually went through two different agents. We wanted to. So I had to do like a search on my own, or like what areas I wanted, like or we wanted that we were comfortable investing in. We finally decided that we wanted to do Sacramento metro. So I started working with one agent. That experience was very frustrating. I mean, the person knew the area very well, but all they did was like they set me up with an MLS filter, and that was kind of it. So I called them a couple of times, and it was not great. Then I found a second agent. She was a little bit more proactive, but again, it was not what I wanted because like I'm a little bit, or I'm very data driven, so I want to see a lot of numbers in front of me and be able to have all kind of information that I need. I want to see comps. I want to see things in the area. I want to understand about like the school district and the demographics and all of the things that are really going to affect kind of the life of this investment, and not just the now. Like this is the purchase price. This is what's kind of your numbers are now, but like what the picture of the future looks like. So I was having to do a lot of that work. So like go through like calculators and a bunch of different things. So with this agent, she was like, "Well, it's probably good for you to start reaching out to property managers to kind of see they might have some insight on about the area." So it was actually a property manager that called, and she was super helpful. She gave me a lot of insight about the area that mentioned awning to me. She said like, "Oh well, you might be interested in this service that we know about." So she gave me the link, and I think I signed up. And after a couple of days, I got a call, and I was completely hooked. It was exactly what I need because I was looking at niche and Zillow and the data from like the county for to calculate property taxes and like all of these different sources. So to analyze one deal, it would take me, I don't know, and it was like you're doing this while you're working. So it would be in the evening, so it would take me 3 4 hours to just come to like, oh no, this is gonna be the right property, and then move on to the next, and then especially with how hard the market is, like you know that every hour, two, three that you spend analyzing a property, it's just you're missing out on something else, right? So I signed up to the service, and it was great. I mean, it was a dream come true. I got everything I was doing on a bunch of different platforms in one platform. Deals were selected for me. The first few days, I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep with my flow and then see how well this works. And I would find a property, and I'm like, this is what I want, and then I go to my awning feed, and it's already there. And the numbers that I'm seeing are pretty much the same numbers that I already had. And I was like, this is crazy. So I started to I just like trusting awning. And then with my advisor, with Sean, exactly the things I wanted to see. With the two agents I was working with, like, oh, here are the comps. And then I had to do all of the research in the background on my own. But then with Sean, it was like a deep dive of like, okay, these are the comps, these are the pictures. We can see that the properties are like, is this as updated as that you're looking at? Like, how about school districts? Is this in the area that you're looking at? Is this close to major companies or like sources of jobs and all of these things that you look at to make sure that you're investing on a good property. And especially like Sean had a lot of knowledge about the Sacramento area that I had been kind of gathering from other sources, but like being able to have him kind of be the sounding board about a lot of those things. Me not being there, I mean, we're in the Bay Area, so we can drive to Sacramento, but it's not easy. So having someone that knows exactly like which areas are good, kind of which schools, which everything, for us was great. And having the dashboard, like, all the numbers already there, and for properties like roughly how much it would be to get it to the point where you can turn around and rent it. So all of these things that I was spending hours and hours and hours doing just to be able to have it in one dashboard was amazing. After that, then we started finding properties, and then we started doing offers, which that was another eye opener, because with agents it was such a slow process, and like just getting all the paperwork, and like, oh, here's the DocuSign. A lot of times it's not, like something's wrong, or like there's a signature that's missing. With Sean, we got to a point where we could get offers out in just minutes, to the point where we'd see a property and like, hey, the deadline is today at noon. We would have a call at, let's say, 10 a.m., and then we would have an offer out. So that just made a huge difference. And we were able to, after spending like 2 months of like on my own and like slow offers, we were able to get a property like much, much faster. And the market is crazy. Sometimes through like bidding wars, and there were times where I was discouraged, and then Sean just pulled me out of it. Like, no, we just have to keep going. It's like, there's always something else out there, and that was exactly what we did, and until we finally got the property that we wanted. We're very happy. We have tenants now. We're getting rent. Most of the calculations that we had at the beginning through awning were spot on. That was exactly what ended up having to be put into the property. That was the amount that we rented it for. We were able to get it even a little bit higher than that, but it was just a huge event, especially now where things are moving so fast. So that's when I was like so blown away that I contacted my friend that kind of got me into this one that said you should look at investing in real estate and getting a rental property. I called her because she was the one that walked me through the process. Like, this is what you do. This is the spreadsheet. This is the calculator. And I'm like, I have something for you. Like, all the stuff that you're doing, just stop doing that. There's this thing, one dashboard. You get everything that you need. And I think I haven't been able to talk to her in depth about her experience, but she's very happy. And then she just came today. Like, we bought our first property in Texas through awning, and she was very excited. So the fact that like she was the one that kind of introduced me into it, and I was able to kind of pay her back and say, okay, here you go, because she already has a few investment like properties in Michigan, and so she was already experiencing, had gone through this process many times. So the fact that she had a similar experience, she ended up continuing with awning instead of doing stuff on her own like she was before. That, I think that's very telling. So yeah.